Yes, here we configure isolation levels, isolation set of the isolation levels. Under isolation levels we categorize into two, that is pessimistic isolation level. Another one is optimistic isolation level. In pessimistic isolation level, here we have four categories, that is read uncommitted, and second one is read committed, third one is repeatable read, fourth one serializable. Now we go for the first one, read uncommitted, and second one the read committed. First we go for this second one, and after we go for the first one. So here is the default SQL server. Here is the default SQL server of isolation level is read committed. So this is the read committed. When I said the here, when I said the default isolation level of read committed, you go for the syntax, read set to transaction, set transaction, isolation level read committed. This is the isolation level to set in SQL query SSMS. Go for the new query window. When I execute this query, this transaction level isolation level change it to read committed. When I begin tran, when a transaction is started, go for the begin tran updated employee number. Suppose employee name is when I modified the employee name of this one, so this one, so employee number of 4. For example, let us take the update the employee name of employee name Jagdish, where employee number is equals to 4. So we do can I execute this? When I execute this begin tran for update cluster table name setup, where I modified the name and where employee number equals to 4, for example. Let's take this. Before we executed, here is the executed 4 is T on the department of CSE. Let us take the example. Then we go for the begin tran update cluster table set ename Jagdish, where employee number equals to 4. When I execute this query, so after we go for the before we go for the queries, I created the L1 for the L1 for L1 user for insert update delete, L2 for select operations. Let us take the example. Two different users to created the two different users to perform the operations in concurrently. So when I executed this begin transaction in L1 user, a query is executed. So let us take the go for the L2 and take the data from this table. This is happened for the LT user. This is see the executing the query. This is locked. L1 is locked. L1 is locked. L2. So this is the isolation works in default isolation level works. Default isolation level works in the SQL server. So this is the default isolation level. When I change it to read uncommitted, yes, here we change it to read uncommitted, sorry, uncommitted. Syntactically I need to follow some words. When a query is executed, yes, when query is executed, transaction isolation level change it to read uncommitted. See the okay. When a transaction begins, when I okay, so this one, where employee number equals to some example take 5. So this is the updated. So begin the transaction. Okay, begin the transaction and execute the transaction. So this is the, when L2 wants the data, here is running, right? Cancel the execution and check the semantic errors and execute the code. So what is happened? Begin the transaction now. Set transaction isolation level is read uncommitted. So here is execute. Yes, execute. Can we execute the updated transactions? 2 rows are affected, but here is not committed, right? So we go for the second one. So refresh this. Something is happening. Refresh the query cancelled and query is executed. So still query is executing. Why? So when I executed the query, set transaction isolation level uncommitted goes to this one. Set the, so we want to see the data from the table. So set isolation transaction level or set. So here is executing the query set isolation transaction level 1, isolation read uncommitted in the L2 level. So see, go for the cluster table, right? Yes, query is executed and see what are the changes for the fifth one, Jaggu, right? Okay, fifth one, Jaggu. Not go for the department, right? We modified the only employee name. So this is the this data is dirty page, right? Dirty reads. This is the dirty reads. So what here is this is concurrency access. That means here is concurrency, higher concurrency. So it provides higher concurrency, but introduces all concurrency problems. So this is the dirty read. This is the dirty read. Okay, so I haven't committed the transaction, right? Here is the dirty read. So this is called dirty read under the second concept of read uncommitted. This is the lowest level can be set. Read uncommitted. Under the read uncommitted, this is the dirty reads. This is the dirty reads. So non-repeatable reads here we happen. Okay, that means inconsistent of analysis. Another one is when I configure the read uncommitted isolation level. Third one is, first one is dirty reads, second one non-repeatable reads, third one phantom reads. What is the pros? That means the advantages of this read uncommitted isolation level. Advantages were no read locks. It means, what is this? No read locks needed to read data. That is, no reader or writer blocking So what is the cons of this read uncommitted isolation level? Data is not guaranteed to be transactionally consistent. This is the cons of read uncommitted transaction isolation level. What is this happen in read uncommitted transaction isolation? Data is not guaranteed to be transactionally consistent. This is the cons of read uncommitted isolation level. Okay, whenever transaction is happen, when we begin the transaction, we haven't committed the, let us see, we haven't committed the transaction, right? Begin the transaction, not commit the transactions. In previous default SQL Server isolation level was read committed isolation level. What is happen? Here is no dirty reads, right? Here is concurrency problem. Here is not. But the cons were read uncommitted isolation level was data is not guaranteed to be transactionally consistent. This is the transactional isolation level. Sorry, isolation level. There is also isolation level, transaction isolation. Read uncommitted isolation level. So thank you.